Hey everyone, how's it going? Here's my review for episode 11 of season 10 of The Walking Dead. Such a fantastic episode. Wow, am I ever hyped for episode 12. The way tonight's episode ended and the build to the big moment that many of us are expecting in next week's episode is just insane. We learned a lot of new things about storylines that will be occurring in season 11, and we also learned a lot more about the state of the Whisper War and stuff that will likely be happening in next week's episode. Lots of Easter eggs in tonight's episode. There was actually a really cool Rick/Michonne Easter egg that I noticed. But before we begin, I do have to warn you that this review will contain spoilers for tonight's episode. And also, if you're new to the channel and you want more Walking Dead content like this, whether it's reviews, trailer breakdowns, etc., make sure to hit subscribe. My trailer breakdown video will be coming out shortly, so stay tuned for that. I will also be doing a lot of Alpha videos this week as I'm expecting her death coming in next week's episode, and if we're saying goodbye to Alpha in next week's episode, then, I want to talk about her as much as I can, right? Because she's been an amazing character, I'm gonna miss her, and all of that. Also, the Q&A I was gonna post on Friday, I just decided to not post because it was about episode 11, and a lot of people already watched it at that point with AMC Premiere and stuff, so I was kind of like, it was a little pointless to post the Q&A then when so many people already watched the episode, right? Because, yeah, it just made no sense. So I'll be posting my Q&A for episode 12 this Wednesday, and I will be using questions that you guys post on this review. So any questions you have about Alpha's final arc, or I guess final episode, like how Negan's true allegiance is going to be revealed, just post your comments down below. But let's jump into the review. So where to start? Man, there's a lot of stuff to talk about. Let's actually start with Eugene. We'll save the final battle for last because that's my favorite part. Eugene actually had some pretty important character development in tonight's episode. The song he was singing is actually Where the Wild Wind Blows from Iron Maiden. Absolutely amazing song, and I just love Eugene that much more. Up the irons, man. Really cool that they actually had the Easter egg in tonight's episode. That song actually came out in 2010, the year the apocalypse happened on the show, so that does line up. I actually saw them on that tour for that album, so it's nice to know that Eugene's a fellow metalhead. But he actually has a date. We learned pretty early on that he's already learned her name too. It is Stephanie, which is exactly from the comic. After some pretty hectic moments where Rosita discovered who he was talking to, they actually repaired a lot of their relationship. It's not as awkward. Also, that wasn't a dream sequence. Rosita actually allowed him to kiss her, and he didn't, which proved that he was actually really into Stephanie, that there might actually be something there. I do wish we got to see a little bit more of them talking and to see that relationship build, like the reveal of her name, but I guess we're just not gonna get everything from the comic. In the comic, this goes on a lot more, and we actually cut back to their conversations quite a bit, so I guess if you want to know more of that, you'll just have to read it in the comic. You'll learn why Eugene is really crazy about Stephanie, though I think they still did a good job getting to the point with it on the show. Eugene was just dealing with some things with Rosita rejecting him, and now there's this woman being very nice to him. He hasn't really had a girlfriend in a long time, though actually never mind, I'm wrong about that. Apparently something happened between him and Laura during All Out War, but Stephanie set the date and location to meet up, and they're gonna meet in about a week, which likely lines up with like episode 14, 15, 16, around there. They're gonna meet at the rail yard, which is what happens in the comic. She's not gonna be alone though, like the Commonwealth troops will be waiting there with her. Probably one of the big cliffhanger moments to the season that Angela Kang was talking about. We'll talk about this though as we get closer to season 10's finale. We got the reveal to Carol that Ezekiel has cancer, and what does it do to her? Makes her want to sleep with him. I didn't see that coming. I don't really know what it means for their relationship still, because they didn't really seem like a couple towards the end, but they did seem on better terms. I guess we'll learn more after all of this Whisperer stuff settles down. Kind of hard to focus on stuff like that when they're, all they're thinking about is that they're gonna die that night, right? Or like Carol said, like, we're gonna die tonight? They all learn that this battle is happening, or I guess that Alpha is coming from Lydia, but also because there were roadblocks, and I love this moment. It was a really great Easter egg or a callback to season 6's finale, when Rick and the others attempted to get Maggie to a doctor, but Negan blocked off all the pathways, leading to the Lucille bashing scene. But Daryl knew immediately that it was Negan. His reaction actually wasn't like shock. He actually seemed a little relieved. Like, he was like, oh, he's with her now. But he didn't say it like he was shocked, like, oh, we're gonna have to be like way more careful now because now Negan's with Alpha. He knows our communities, like he's a great threat. He just said, oh, he's with her now, and he kind of seemed a little relieved when he said it. Maybe that's just me, I don't know, but I wonder if this roadblock was a message being sent to Daryl that he is in fact with Alpha now. So Daryl was the one that let Negan out of his cell. We'll see how it's revealed though. I'm expecting that reveal in next week's episode. Speaking of Negan, I love the Whisper mask he was wearing. I love the scene where he was like, I thought you were going to get them to join us. And then Alpha's like, they will, as a part of my horde. And then Negan's like, holy shit, you're a badass. Now, as for the actual build to the battle, they set the tone right. Eugene singing Have You Heard what they said on the news today? Have you heard what is coming for us all? The eerie final day tone was unexpected, but I loved because, yeah, that's very realistic. You know, that horde, Alpha's on her way. They could all die tonight. And because of that, we got a lot of great emotional moments that I really was not expecting. Daryl is in Rick's place now. That's the one thing I noticed. Like that scene with Judith, I think confirmed that. And also just how he handled everyone at the hilltop. His talk with Ezekiel, I love that scene. If one of them goes down, the other gets the kids out. Like Ezekiel, he has to beat his cancer. He's just such a great fucking character. Back to the Judith and Daryl scene though. Daryl now has his vest and he has a new wing on there and he just looked super happy. Actually, what I loved about this scene is that it shows how far we've come with the show. Like Judith is 10 years old now and Daryl is 10 years older and they're still here together. You know, it makes this scene here from season 3 pretty amazing to rewatch because those two are still together. A lot of people have died since the prison, but Daryl is still watching over Judith, or little ass kicker. We actually had a scene of Judith trying to reach out to her mom in tonight's episode while Eugene was singing, but there was no answer. So I wonder what she's going through. Now, for the final battle, we did end on a cliffhanger like I was expecting, and it was the exact cliffhanger that I was expecting. The tree sap that Beta was collecting was used to fling at the hilltop with a catapult. I love the slow motion shots of them getting hit with the tree sap. Jerry's like, it smells like a Christmas tree. And then we see someone on fire. Beta gives a signal and the archers fire and the hilltop is just finished at that point. Daryl and everyone are now stuck between walkers and the hilltop on fire. And they really only have one option at this point, which is to evacuate because they can't deal with the horde, put out the fire. It's a massive fire. And also kill the Whisperers. They just can't. So I expect this battle in episode 12 to be over pretty fast. I think it's going to be them just trying to escape, which I think puts this shot of Negan more into context because the Whisperers actually won the battle. They've all fled the hilltop and now they're just looking around for more bodies, but we'll talk about that in my trailer breakdown for episode 12. The final shot was just epic. I mean, great visual. I'm so hyped for episode 12. Tonight's episode was a really great episode for longtime viewers. And I think a great episode that really finally got to what we've been waiting for all season. We've been waiting for this final conflict to happen, for shit to hit the fan, and we're here now. You know, it's happening. This war is happening right now. We're right in the moment where all the big things are going to happen. Like this conflict is going to go either our characters are going to win or the Whisperers are going to win. But I mean, obviously we know that we're likely going to win because they're going to continue the show for, you know, however many years, but we're probably going to lose people and stuff. And yeah, but great episode tonight. Best of the season by far. I really loved all the emotional stuff. There was a lot of it. Really nice callbacks to earlier seasons, moments where you notice the relationship growth between characters, and also just beautiful visuals with the battle. The hilltop on fire scene was just great. We start the fight with the camera on Daryl's back. The hilltop is fine. And we end the episode with a shot on Daryl's back, but this time the hilltop's on fire. Again, absolutely amazing episode. I can't wait for episode 12. Remember, I will be posting my trailer breakdown and predictions video for episode 12 within the hour, so stay tuned for that and make sure to be a subscriber, I guess, if you do want that and other videos. But we're here. I mean, we're at the final moment now. We watched the first 3 episodes of the season. We were all expecting these first 3 episodes to be, I mean, basically how we were all expecting it, right? Like the first or the mid-season premiere was the cave episode. We got Connie and Magna's apparent death. They're actually still alive down there. I'm sure we're going to get that reveal in episode 15 or 16, like what happened to them and all that. We got 10 with Stalker. Beta, you know, infiltrated Alexandria. We got some really cool Halloween Michael Myers moments. I mean, those first 2 episodes were a lot of fun. Tonight was the best one of the 3. Really enjoyed tonight's episode. Actually, I think it's the best of the season by far. This episode makes the season really worth it, mostly because I know bigger things are also happening, but I'm just glad we finally got an episode like this where the downtime stuff was really emotional and it hit the right beats. And I don't know, I love Angela Kang's work with The Walking Dead. She does such an amazing job. Is Alpha gonna die in next week's episode? That's the question we're gonna have all week. We're all going to be wondering if Alpha is going to die in episode 12, and I guess we're going to have to wait to see if it happens. I mean, I am just super excited. But again, post your thoughts down below on tonight's episode. Hope you guys all enjoyed the video. Make sure to be a subscriber if you want more Walking Dead content like this, and I'll see you guys in my trailer breakdown. Thanks for watching.